Today we wander with St. John the Apostle. "I want you to go and get everything ready for the Passover meal," said Jesus to Peter and John. "Where do you want us to get it ready?" they asked. It was a good question. For 3 years, Jesus and his disciples, including the 12 he had specially chosen, had been going around Galilee. Now they had come to Jerusalem to be there for the Passover festival, when Jews have a special meal to remember their escape from slavery to Egypt. But although they were spending the week leading up to Passover in the city, they were staying with friends in a village named Bethany, a few miles outside of Jerusalem. As you go into the city, you'll meet a man carrying a water jug. Follow him to the house he goes into. He'll show you an upstairs room where you can go get everything ready. And that's exactly what happened. On the Thursday evening, Jesus and the 12 disciples met in that upstairs room for what was to be their Last Supper together. Nearest to him was John. John, along with his brother James, was among the first of the disciples Jesus chose, and the two of them, together with Peter, seemed to have been especially close to Jesus. Not only did Jesus ask John and Peter to do special jobs like finding the upper room, but he took the three of them with him on other special occasions. Once, a man named Jairus had come to Jesus to ask him to cure his daughter, who was seriously ill. By the time Jesus and his followers got to the house, they were told that the girl had died. Jesus reassured everyone that she was only sleeping. The crowd that had gathered didn't believe him. He chose just 3 disciples to go with him into the girl's room, where he woke her from the deep sleep she was in. Those 3 disciples were Peter, James, and John. Another time, Jesus chose 3 disciples to go with him up a mountain where he showed himself to them in all his heavenly glory. Again, the 3 chosen were Peter, James, and John. Of those 3, there seems to have been something special about John. He was almost certainly the youngest of the 12. He may have been only a teenager at this time, and there is a possibility that he was a cousin of Jesus. This could explain why John is described as the disciple Jesus loved in the Gospel according to John. John was incredibly loyal to Jesus. During the night following their Last Supper together, Jesus was arrested and put on trial before the high priest. John alone appears to have been brave enough to find his way into the courtroom. And on the next day, when Jesus was hanging on the cross, the one disciple out of the 12 who we know was there was young John. It was John whom Jesus asked to care for his mother. After the Bible says that Jesus had returned to heaven, John and Peter worked together, spreading the message that Jesus had taught. It is said that John lived to be a very old man, and that he alone of the 12 was not killed but died naturally. Many believe he spent his last years in a place named Ephesus, in what is now Turkey. When he got too old to preach, and people still came to hear him, he would simply say, "Love one another." That is the Lord's command. If you do that, it is enough.